If you're someone who loves the drama, you're going to be feasting watching the ending of The Ultimatum, Queer Love. And I'll be real, at times it felt like my head was about to explode watching some of these arguments go off the rails.
I don't know who was in my house, and there was just all these like sex board games.
What board games?
I will send them to you.
A sex board game?
I'm glad you're saying that.
You're just f***ing
because I have
straight up
actually
f***ing
have them in
gaslighting
my.
me. Are you?
I don't care what it's called. I
Like,
just
this
really
is the way
hope
I
that
look
you
at
just let me
everything.
talk, because every time you talk, it just like makes this like ear, like it just hurts my ear.
Now, if you're not familiar with the show, The Ultimatum is all about bringing in couples where one person has dished a marriage ultimatum and the other isn't ready. Then they have them all date each other and enter into trial marriages away from their original partner in an attempt to see if that brings any new clarity or if they're better off with someone else. I covered the first 4 episodes already if you want to go check that out. But now, in the second half of the show, couples Lexi and Ray, Xander and Vanessa, Mal and Yoli, Tiff and Mildred, and Sam and Ozzy have come back together to have a second trial marriage with their original partners, where they'll get to see if that time apart has caused anything to change. All of which culminates in the ultimatum day, where they finally decide to either get engaged, break up, or potentially run off with someone from one of the other couples. And the primary drama of this season, at least as I see it, revolved around Yoli and Xander, both of whom dished out ultimatums to their original partners, but fell in love with each other during their 3-week trial marriage. And literally, it was like every 5 minutes they were going,
I love you.
I love you.
I love you. Do you love Yoli? I don't know. I love you.
okay, I don't mean to be that person, but did y'all not dish out an ultimatum to someone else just days before this? Then the show makes it horribly awkward by getting them to all come together for drinks where they avoid talking to each other cause Xander had sex with Yoli and Ray had sex with Vanessa, but that was just meaningless, whereas Yoli and Xander are walking off to canoodle in private cause they're actually in love.
Let's do this then. You don't want to be married. Yeah. That's all I mean.
So now, Vanessa, who got the ultimatum from Xander but didn't want to get married, is suddenly saying stuff like,
I think I finally came to the conclusion that I do want to marry someone and have a kid with someone and raising them and having that connection.
and even Vanessa's dad is over here like,
I don't believe you.
It's undeniable that a part of that is you don't want to lose Xander. That you'd be willing to maybe do something that you wouldn't have done before because of that fear of loss. You want to win them back because you want to be chosen.
and as for Mal, well, she's pretty much doing the same thing. Now that there's a threat to her relationship with Yoli, she's all,
What is it that you're looking for right now?
The perfect strawberries.
What does perfect strawberry look like? What is that?
Bro, some of them look beat up. How nice is it to know that this human being is like, let me pick only the best strawberries for the person that I love. You look like you're a little cold. Do you want a hoodie?
but the real question is, what are these two going to do on Ultimatum Day? And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that they had Mal and Yoli show up first to this busted up gazebo, I thought it was over for these two. But nope.
Will you do life with me? And will you marry me? Is that a yes?
Turns out the gazebo was the fancy location they picked out for a proposal, which makes a lot more sense when you see Xander meet up with Vanessa at this beautiful, plain wooden bench to break up. So yeah, these two end up splitting, which is actually a big deal cause they're not only letting go of each other, but also a joint Instagram account with 38k followers. But with that now done, Xander goes to meet Yoli, who's doing her best not to show off her ring finger. I mean, Xander's about to come into this meeting like,
What happened? Is there a ring?
So, high five me. We're back to a happy. Yeah, look at those kittens. Those a present?
and with Yoli already engaged and Xander now single, this stuff was straight out of a soap opera. Cause while Yoli reveals that she did in fact accept Mal's proposal, she then goes on to say,
I feel pretty confident about us. Yeah. Everyone's been like, pick love and pick yourself. But I think picking myself would be picking you. You will be. Love to.
Don't forget that in this moment, this is an engaged woman. So then they walk off, but come back, and walk off, and come back, and honestly, at this point, this relationship has had more false endings than The Lord of the Rings.
Xander.
What?
Oh, and by the way, this is just like half the couples on the show, each of whom have their own piles of mess on display this season. Like, there's also Tiff and Mildred and Sam and Ozzy, where it's pretty obvious they aren't romantically interested in their trial marriage partners, but the drama is more in how wild the problems get in their original partnerships. Like, take Ozzy, who literally every time a smidge of conflict arises goes,
"Anyways, I'm gonna go cry in the bathroom. Peace out, homies!"
And I mean it. Every single time an argument starts, Ozzy just slowly gets up and walks away, as if moving as little and as quietly as possible means the other person might not realize that Ozzy's going. But after learning that avoiding conflict and not communicating might be one of their issues, Ozzy does decide to make a full commitment in a very special way.
I would like to present to you Hot Shape.
Take it, it's a present.
It's a rock.
Thank you.
Nah, of course, Ozzy also pulls out a proper rock. But I'll admit, for a second there, I was fooled.
Did you think I was gonna give you, like, just that?
I don't think so.
No? You would have been fine if I just gave you that?
No.
Okay, but Ozzy and Sam are tame compared to Tiff and Mildred. Now, Tiff's first concerning moment comes after Tiff's trial partner Sam didn't want Tiff's dog to sleep in the bed with them. Something that led Tiff to believe that Sam was a cruel and evil dog hater.
I'm asking you to act like you care about my dog. Like, it's not that hard. I want a heart. What the am I gonna do?
I don't care if you have the most gorgeous face, the most gorgeous body, the most gorgeous personality, and the most supportive system. If you don't like my dog, you can get the f out.
But then there's Tiff's original partner Mildred, who takes things to a whole nother level.
How often do you feel like I don't let you talk?
All the time.
When do I have permission to speak?
It's not that you should have permission to speak. It's a common
because
respect.
now that you're telling me that I interrupt you when we're having a conversation, clearly.
Like even just now, you spoke over me.
But Tiff, you talk a lot. Like you don't shut up.
Now, these two argue pretty much always. And pretty much always, there are excuses.
I'm a Latina, and when you're with Latinos, like, everybody speaks over everybody.
And I'm an asshole, and I tend to speak over people.
Okay, you can stop being an asshole, but I can't stop being a Latina.
Being respectful has no race, Mildred.
Well, turns out these two are constantly breaking up and getting back together. And on the day of their final decision, looks like it's a back together day. But the real updates on these two come at the reunion show, cause it turns out that, surprise surprise, these two didn't last and things got real messy.
I was arrested. I threw a picture frame and I broke it and the glass shattered everywhere. And I threw a peg gate at you and it was really heavy. You decided to open a dating app and bring women to the house, not come home.
What did I bring a woman to the house?
And there was just all these like sex board games.
So Mildred keeps throwing out that Tiff wasn't paying rent or something, and asked Mildred to pay 2/3 of the rent cause her son with special needs stayed with them, which Tiff says she doesn't remember. So then Mildred says that Tiff was bringing over women, despite Tiff claiming, "We were on a break!" All the while I was just sitting here going, why aren't we talking about the fact that Mildred was arrested for domestic violence? Hello? Who cares about rent and sexy board games? Mildred threw a baby gate at Tiff and went to jail. Meanwhile, all of this is making the rest of the drama look tame. Like Mal and Yoli, they're done too.
So where are you now?
Happily broken up. We can see throughout the ultimatum that your history of being honest doesn't track.
And this all comes back to stuff Yoli did on the show. No, I'm not talking about the sex or the falling in love. I'm talking about stuff like her going off to secretly canoodle with Xander while she was back with Mal, and doing so while Mal was literally right there at the same party.
I reflect on the whole thing and I'm like, oh, I've known this person for 5 years, in close circle to me, And now I'm looking at our entire relationship through a completely different lens, and you feel like a dangerous stranger to me.
Then they bring up stuff like Yoli and Xander DMing each other and meeting up at Coachella after the show, where they said they did nothing but hang out, but I don't know, I just can't trust it. Maybe it is true, but all season and right up into the reunion, Xander and Yoli would be accused of stuff like...
I was surprised when a few weeks in I did find out that her and Yoli were planning a trip to Hawaii. It was...
To Hawaii?
But of course, they would always deny it. However, then a new fact would come out and it'd be like...
We had mentioned that you were gonna try and come out at some point.
Oh, okay.
Because we had talked about it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, that. Oh, we forgot about that. Yeah, that was nothing. Can we move on? I mean, literally the same thing happened when Vanessa brought up that Xander and Yoli were DMing each other, even though at this point in the show, everyone was back to a trial marriage with their original partners, and Yoli denied there ever being any wrongdoing, until Vanessa brought up that they were asking for pictures of each other.
Yoli had asked for a selfie, and it was just like there were a few things that made me uncomfortable, like...
Well, I didn't hear that when you told me.
And I didn't think that happened.
A few moments later.
And you sent a photo. In response, yes, I could see that.
Well, that's a part I didn't hear.
Okay, didn't think it happened.
And then, of course, there's also Lexi and Ray, whose main obstacle all season was Ray sleeping with Vanessa. But in the end, these two become the happy success story that the show finishes off with.
Lexi, will you marry me?
Yes.
Yes.
Even claiming to be in premarital bliss, that is, until they showed this at the end of the reunion, and I nearly busted out laughing, cause, of course, this is how it would end.
Okay, I get that. But this ending sucks.
So it turns out that every relationship on this show has burned to the ground except Ozzy and Sam, which actually is a perfect example of how things go when an ultimatum is dished out. Maybe there's that one couple who made it work, but don't bet on it, cause every other time, well, it all just goes to shit. So that's it for this video on the Ultimatum Queer Love. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, comment your thoughts on the series down below, and subscribe to the channel as there's a ton more content on the way, especially come the end of the month. So, until next time, Bachelor Fan Take, out.
I just really hope that you just let me talk, because every time you talk, it just like makes this like ear, like it just hurts my ear.